Welcome. This is Tax Pro Nation, the home of the independent tax professionals, where you can find a tax community, maximize your earnings, and live life on your own terms. I'm your host, Imelda Ledesma, COO of Pronto Tax School. In this episode, Andy and Daren will lead the conversation on immigration strategies on Schedule C, how to handle undocumented business owners.
Morning, everybody.
Hey, good morning.
Good to see you, Andy.
Yeah, so I saw on the calendar here that we had pushed back this session that we had scheduled today. So we were scheduled currently, Daren, to talk about Schedule C strategies related to immigration and immigrants that have businesses. I wanted to see from your point of view. I know that your dad's business, if I'm not mistaken, was originally in Downey, right?
Yep.
Which is sometimes known as the Hispanic Beverly Hills.
Well, he retired in 97. No, 98. He sold his office building.
Okay.
So that transition.
Yeah, I know that area. My dad's office was in Bell Gardens, like right next door. So that area is definitely very. A lot of people that were not born in the U.S. and have started businesses, of all different sizes and varieties, and just a ton of self-employment and business owners. I know that you're now in Orange County. Do you guys work with, and not even necessarily Hispanic, but like with people that have immigration and have started a business, and that immigration is a factor in their tax situation?
It comes up more and more. It's been more on the on side businesses. So most aren't self-employed. So most of my immigration dealings are with. I have 3 companies that I have a lot of employees that are clients, and they bring people over from France and Canada, France and England. But even with them, then you have Irish, and they marry people from other countries. And so that's more my side of dealing with the immigration issues. And I guess to a point that depending on what type of visa you're here on. So I've got one client that's here from France that on her visa, it's for the company, but technically, she wants to start her own side thing, but according to her visa, she's not supposed to be self-employed.
Interesting. Okay. So I guess that would be, and that's kind of what I'm looking at here is like big picture. And maybe I can share real quick, if you guys don't mind this. We had this story come in from a Pronto Tax School member that I think is really kind of illustrates the opportunity here that we're trying to bring to the point. So if you can see my screen here, basically this member had reported, a few years ago, 2 Malaysian refugee women walked into my office. They were unhappy. And I'll share all these notes with you guys too, with the recording. They were unhappy with kind of the big chain experience that they got. They're new to the country, right? This member ended up being able to help them and essentially discover like a new client niche that she was totally unaware even existed, and started getting a lot of referrals from non-native people, both self-employed and employed, or both. And basically, like this kind of segment of the market grows a lot better than her more mainstream client, I guess I could say. And so this is something that we've seen like with our offices and also with other members, is that people that specialize in these, whether it's like an ethnic group or even a type of industry or a type of visa, Daren, like you just mentioned, that the employers are using to have people come over. I really think there's a lot of opportunity here that, that's available. It would be interesting to hear from other people on the call. Like, do you guys have, are some of your clients immigrants, and are some of them self-employed? And if so, is this like a growth area for you in your business?
I am actually trying to help. I have clients that are or that don't have social security. They just have their ICANNs, so they have ICANNs. And there's a lot of misinformation when it comes to what is it that you can or cannot do, and being afraid of reporting or not reporting the incomes. I'm trying to start more of like an education series for them, so that they know that filing taxes is a good thing. Because I have started with my conversation with my gardener. He wants to buy a home and didn't realize that not filing taxes was not good for him in the long run, but nobody ever told him. And then he started filing taxes and with very little income, and he thought that was fine. All he needed was a tax return. And then he didn't realize that, he needs to have, and he was making good money. That's why it's like, it kind of sucks that I wish I had known before that paying taxes is actually not bad. And I should be doing that. And and just because I'm bilingual, and I do want to help the self-employed individuals from the Hispanic community.
Yeah, so that's one of the main markets that in California that we would see, and it kind of illustrates the tricky part of this, where you have a lot of things going on with these situations that can be kind of anxiety producing for the employer. Like, for instance, Daren, when you're working with these, it sounds like your client is the employer, right? And then they're bringing people over on these different visas.
Well, right? No, I mean, my clients are the employees. These are big corporations. Yeah, gotcha. One of them is Panasonic. They bring a lot of people over from France.
Gotcha. Okay. So those people would come to you, and then they might have a situation that if they started a business, it would violate their visa. Okay. And so potentially they could like not be here because of that, or something to that effect.
Correct.
Okay. So that to me produces a certain amount of anxiety when you go into the normal idea of talking about, okay, if you start a business, you can have these tax deductions, you can, kind of like the normal spiel that we might have. If you're going to cause the person to potentially get deported, that's a pretty weighty matter.
Yeah. Well, and especially because then their next question is like, well, how do I do it and not violate my visa?
Right. Okay.
So you do have to. So it is a little anxiety inducing.
And what do you, can you talk a little bit about the referral? So say you're engaging in that conversation with the client, and they are pleased with kind of the education and service that you're giving them, and they know it's a specialized situation. So they know just like not everybody's going to be able to address it. Do you find that those kinds of clients in these kind of more more specialized niche, they refer a lot of people that are in the same situation as them? Or can you tell me about that part of it?
Yeah, they're way better referral sources. So I get at least like 4 or 5 like foreign immigrants or people here on work visas from the employees, because when they get here, there's no information. So they ask the people that are around them who they went to. And it's so pivotal filing tax returns in the immigration process, because they do ask for copies of the tax returns. So you're a huge part of their life. So 1, they're good clients, they're loyal. 2, amazing referral sources, because that's where your average tax place doesn't take care of this type of stuff. And the chain places don't do a very good job.
So specifically with regard to that client group, what do you tell them, Daren, or how do you help them in ways that's better that somebody that doesn't have this specialized knowledge can't do? Like what kind of consulting can you give them, or how can you help them in a really great way?
Yeah, so twofold, especially when they're here the first year. There's elections you can make to treat them as a full year resident rather than part year resident. So you got to choose between filing 1040 or a 1040 NR. And then as well as, going forward and the current year, being up on all the, FinCEN rules. I can't remember the form offhand. I think 8939, the foreign asset statement. And so being knowledgeable in those and being able to take care of, because a lot of the ones that I have, they left their home in France or England and started renting it out. So you're dealing with foreign bank accounts that need to be reported, foreign assets, and foreign income. And a lot of people don't like to touch that stuff. The other thing, too, though, is, and I found a lady actually down the street from me that is one, so I haven't bothered to do it. But huge thing that you could do to really secure your niche in this industry is becoming I believe it's called a certified document. There's an actual term for it.
Yeah, certifying acceptance agent, a CAA.
Yeah, CAA. So it's a pain in the butt, and that's why I really didn't like to do them. But and especially since they've changed the W-7 rules, where that's applying for an ITIN for dependents, you have to file it on paper with the documents, with the tax return by paper. You can't do it standalone anymore. It's very annoying. But that being said, having your clients have to go to the consulate or the embassy to get certified copies of passports and their visas is a pain in the butt, depending on what consulate it is. And so being the CAA means you can certify the passport and the identification documents for the W-7. So that's huge. And there isn't too many of those.
And right. And you chose to, rather than having somebody in your office do that, you chose to connect with another local.
Correct.
Is that person a tax person?
Yeah, they're a tax person too. And so, but basically what I did was I did the tax return and then sent it to I did the tax return and then basically sent my client with the paper copy of the tax return over to her to fill out the W-7, certify the documents, and staple it all to the front and mail it off.
Interesting. And so you have an understanding with that person that that they're your clients for taxes, and she's like a teammate on the ITIN. Okay. Interesting. Because I know that for ITINs, especially as they've kept switching the process and losing people's documents and things like that, that there's a lot of our members that we hear they want to have their clients not need to send in original documents, but they don't want to go through the whole rigmarole of the CAA, becoming a CAA themselves. So that teamwork opportunity sounds like, potentially.
Yeah, it's great because any issues with the W-7 as well, she has to deal with them.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. I was going to kind of point out generally with regard to the self-employment piece of it that, and again, you guys will get the notes from this, but statistically, immigrants are more frequently self-employed and start more businesses, like by a pretty substantial, margin. And also that immigrants are more frequently, frankly, successful in business. In terms of employing other people, especially as measured by employing other people. So, and as well as we see that immigrants in general are, and again, not to generalize, but just in general, are less trusting of doing their own taxes online. So if you have more supply of people starting businesses, people becoming more successful in running businesses, and then not trusting DIY solutions, I think that's basically a recipe for a very lucrative client niche.
I would agree.
Does that sound right?
It does. Okay.
The only challenge though is when you get involved with it, the whole thing of the anxiety piece of even these issues that we've touched on, where it can really, I feel like tax pros, we just don't want to do something that's going to get somebody deported. It's probably like the most blunt way I could put it. And I think there's a number of things that can go wrong with these situations. So I wonder if we could brainstorm for this conversation, like if you see this as an opportunity, in your area, or just in general, what should you do to start maximizing this opportunity, and how would you avoid the problems that we all could see could happen?
Well, the brightest star, I definitely think in the beginning, I think it would determine specifically kind of the market that you're going after, make sure that your office is prepared bilingual wise and to be able to communicate.
So in your area, do you look at particular, I mean, you guys are so busy with kind of your existing referrals that you get. I guess you're kind of like not needing to go after new markets to some degree. Is that right?
Yeah, no, it's everything comes in through referral. So as far as like going after an actual new market, that's where I guess I would be more on the brainstorming side on if I was going to go after that market, how would I go about it? Well, because, and also I think too, though, is it would be the way as far as like a marketing strategy, though, is to also go after, there's probably a lot of people that should have filed that haven't.
Yeah, for sure. Or they filed, Daren, in a way, kind of like Marley mentioned, where they filed in a way of not filing in a way that's going to lead to their other goals, other than just paying the least amount of tax possible being possible, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Such as buying a house, such as
buying a car.
Buying a car, right? Being able to sponsor someone else to come and live in the U.S. like an aging parent or a kid or a child. So pretty important things, right? Like kind of like American dream type of things that people are really interested in doing. So who on the call to make best use of Daren's brainstorming capabilities and whatnot? Who on the call is looking for like new clients and wants to really aggressively grow your business? Okay, so maybe Marley, since you're already working in a immigration related community, what are you because you have a lot of market with your skill set, you can go after a lot of different markets. Like, is this market a top priority, do you think? Like, do you think it's like one of the best opportunities that you have? And if so, why?
Well, so the reason why I'm trying to help them is because I work with this company called Women's Economic Ventures, where they provide a lot of startup money grants for minority, not only women anymore, but they don't have a lot of understanding how to start a business and the tax implications of starting a business. And for instance, I am working with a group of daycare providers, in-home daycare providers, that are very confused about how to, even structure their business entity-wise, mixing personal and business because their businesses from their home, et cetera, et cetera. So as we were teaching these classes, they had so many questions that there's just a huge need for them to really be informed that as daycare providers, and a lot of them rent. So they are not even working for themselves. They are working for the owner of the property. And so when they realized that there were a lot of tax savings for them because they can deduct a lot of personal expenses that most of us can just because their business is in their home. Yeah. They want to know more about that. It's like, well, what do you mean? So now it's like, okay, well, no, now I want to buy a house. And one of them got a grant, a $61,000 grant from California to improve the home, that to provide better daycare, to become a better daycare. But it's like, this isn't my home. I want to use this grant. And now she realized that the previous tax preparer was just pretty much eliminating all taxable. I mean, it was just like, she's my case study where now she knows, okay, had I known all this before, I would have made so much better decisions. So she's willing to kind of be and promote this teaching. So, and the same thing with my landscapers. I have so many, and they are mostly Hispanic. So I do have a heart for helping them reach that American dream, maybe buying a home or buying a commercial business, et cetera, et cetera. And they don't have unfortunately, a lot of tax preparers that help the Hispanic, they are not educating them. They are just trying to get them the biggest refund so that they can get more clients, but they are hurting them in the future.
Yeah, well said. So would you say, Marley, that market is like a top priority for you relative to?
So that I'm trying. Okay. There's all these things that I have wanted to do, but I think I have a heart for helping them, especially they work so hard. There's like, you need to have all the information so that you can make the best decisions.
Yeah. And even if you listen to that kind of discussion, right, just from a business point of view, you think the current solution's not going well in a lot of cases, right? And there's high barrier to entry because not everybody's bilingual. Not everybody has. So you have a lot of opportunity in that because of the, there's a huge need. It's not being met very well, right? And then it's a high barrier to entry. It's hard for other people to compete on that. So I think it is actually an excellent opportunity.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Imelda. Join us next week as we continue to share mini audio clips of the Schedule C tax prep process. If you are interested in listening to the full process and want to be part of the Dream Team community, please visit prontotaxschool.com or email us to support@prontotaxschool.com. Being part of the Dream Team membership comes with getting expert support, top-rated training programs, and weekly video live events. We look forward to having you on board.